So if you want to just click through this one, oh boy, it should be a black background. Somehow that got lost. Sorry about that, but I think we can still, yeah, shoot. It lost its formatting in the somehow. Anyway, so this is going to be interesting to explain. Let me see if I can say. So basically, this is sort of the layout of all the evidence for why we think the dominant pathway is exposure, inhalation exposure through the air, not by disinfecting surfaces. So this is just a few examples of the different studies that have been published. And basically, again, it's sort of, there's quite a bit of evidence that shows that people don't have symptoms. Either they're pre-symptomatic, asymptomatic, they just don't have symptoms. And those people are the ones that are out at the gym and can actually produce quite a few aerosols. Historically, again, back to the medical field, we hear about AGMPs, aerosol generating medical procedures. There's also AGMPs, as many of you are familiar with. AGMPs, though, have historically been the only time when people in the medical field, healthcare workers, are given proper, I would argue, proper access to the right PPE. In particular, they are given respirators or N95 masks, which is what everyone, which is the only way to protect against inhaling aerosol. It's the best way, I should say. It's not the only way, but it is the most effective way to filter out aerosols. Again, if you think to the medical field, you think to dental offices, you see a lot of people walking around with medical masks, surgical masks. Those are designed to block droplets. Those do not work for aerosols. Aerosols can leak out the little gaps in the side unless you put, there's braces you can get to actually make them more effective. But my point is that there's been this long-standing belief that the only time you need an N95 or a respirator is if you're doing an aerosol generating procedure. And what I want to sort of point out is that we have now learned that this virus is in the air. There's, again, this sort of shows all the different, usually I step through these, but it shows all of the different ways. We've seen the virus in the air through the RNA, through genomics, from sampling. We've also seen that it remains infectious. That was always a question. And a lot of people said, oh, it's not airborne because it's not infectious. Well, they have never actually been able to culture measles out of the air. So this one is actually, you know, we're much further down the path of acknowledging that this one is airborne. And now, finally, after over a year of pushing, we finally, both WHO and CDC, have at least acknowledged that aerosol transmission is occurring. There's still some arguments, I guess, if you will. People are holding on to these sort of medical dogmas that droplets could still be important. And they're just not as many droplets. There's thousands of times more aerosols than droplets, and aerosols stay up and droplets fall. So it is, over time, I've become much stronger in my belief and sort of getting the points across. The science shows that it is in the aerosol form. Next slide, please.